And we are live. Welcome to this edition of Wealthy Wednesday. Well, my name is Leah Garcia, financial strategist and insurance professional. And it is my crusade to help you properly protect, distribute, and transfer your wealth so you can build that legacy and create generational and multi-generational wealth for you and your family. But today's not about me. It's about my amazing guest. It's going to be a little bit different show. We're going deep here. So today I'm so honored to have somebody that I consider a friend, a colleague, a mentor, somebody that we have done so much together with. And we've come through so many different ebbs and flows. And today I'm really honored because she's agreed to come here and share a very, very intimate part of her life, and really something that I believe will be transformational for all of you listening, not just now, but in the future. And so not an easy thing to do to publicly talk about your life's stresses and challenges, but I really honor her because this is something that's so critical and so important, I think, for most people that really don't understand about term life insurance with living benefits. And so today we're going to talk about what is the truth about term life insurance. Where this is a gloves off conversation as always. So without further ado, I give you one of my incredible mentors, like I said, Miss Deborah Martinez. So take it away. Take us a little bit about yourself, my love.
Thank you, Leah. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share some of my life stresses. But about term insurance. I started in this industry 10 years ago, and this amazing lady here was my trainer. She's the one that helped me get into this industry and teach me and train me. And I'm very grateful because at the time that I joined this industry, I was broke as a joke. Okay. I could not afford insurance. It was real simple math. But this young lady said, you are going to get covered. You are going to do the very least of these things that you can do is a 10-year term policy. You're protected. And at the time I was driving from Lindsay, California to Salinas, California every other day of the week on the road. So it was critical that I had protection because I didn't. And so I did. I got a term policy and everything was great. Added other policies after the fact, but fast forward to 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, I had a tiny little bump on the top of my head. And I went in and took care of that very, very quickly. And only to discover that I had stage 2B malignant melanoma and malignant lipoma. So I had all my lymph nodes, cancer in 5 of my lymph nodes, and then the top of my head, they had to literally scalp me, if you will, because I got a big bald spot where they removed my scalp and removed the cancer. And at that time when all that happened, I'm 8 years into my term policy. So I started freaking out a little bit because in 2 more years, my term policy is going to lapse, and I'm not getting coverage anywhere else because of the cancer. And I was very, very, very fortunate that I received the letters from Transamerica telling me what I needed to do. And I was a little freaked out. And I didn't think, honestly, I thought I was just going to lose my coverage, and it is what it is. But this young lady stepped in and she's like, no, that's not the way this works. I knew at the beginning that I had 5 years to convert that to a different type of policy where it could be for the rest of my life. But I had never in my wildest imagination thought that I could convert to a whole life policy, a lot smaller face value, but still I'm covered. I had no idea that after 10 years of being in that policy that I could do that without a medical doctor,
Exam.
That's the word. No medical exam. That's what I was looking for. I had no idea that that was even a possibility. I was just faced with, I'm going to lose my coverage and I'm going to have to figure something else out for my husband to take care of him if I pass first. And now we just got that all converted and I'm taken care of for the rest of my life now. And so it's been a stressful 2 years. And then the thought of losing my coverage, another stress, it was just a little overwhelming. It really was. And it still is, honestly, just to think about everything that's happened and transpired. But here we are, and now I'm covered, and I don't have to worry about my husband if I do pass first, that I know he's taken care of, and we're good.
Yeah. So let's kind of unpack some of that.
Yeah.
So we're talking some kind of language
Yeah.
here, right?
Yeah.
We're going to kind of break it down. So term life insurance is basically, it has a birth date and an expiration date. It's temporary coverage, and it could cover you for 10, 20, 30 years, basically. So after that term is ended, whether it's a 10-year, 20 or 30 years, now, a lot of term policies will just expire. You've paid into that for all of those years, and now the term is over, and, bon voyage. Good luck. And then that's right. And then you have to get something else. Now, you may be older. Well, you definitely will be older, but your health may have been more challenged. So you may be unable to get life insurance at that point, or the amount would be significantly more because you've had some medical challenges. Term life insurance, in my opinion, is a great option because it allows you to get something that's affordable, put protection on your family. But there's another element to that, which is the living benefits, right? So you have term life insurance that has living benefits. And the coverage we're talking about has living benefits, but it also has that conversion option, meaning that at the end of your term, so it was a 10-year term, at the end of the 10 years, you had the option, Debbie, to continue that policy. And of course, the rates, because you are older, we're going to be more costly, significantly more, right?
Just more.
Significantly more unaffordable. So we did a lower amount, which gave you an option to be able to have that extended coverage without medical qualifying.
Yes.
No medical questions, no exam. Now you still have to go through the application process to convert it, but there was no medical requirements.
No.
Tell me what that felt like for you. I'm going to close this door here because there might be somebody coming in. We don't want anybody coming in here. Tell me, what did that feel like?
I mean, honestly, it was a sense of relief because I was really stressing about this. I mean, I've been in the industry for a while. I know I'm not getting coverage nowhere else with cancer in my recent 2-year history. It's not happening. So it relieved. I mean, it took a load of stress off. And as a cancer survivor, what did they tell you? Stay stress-free. Right. Stress-free is key.
Yeah.
So removing that burden of what in the world is going to happen to my husband when I pass, if I pass first, that you just can't, that's peace of mind you can't buy.
Yeah. And, oftentimes families avoid these conversations.
Oh, yes.
These are difficult things to talk about, difficult topics. But unless we have these conversations, then what happens? I mean, think about what would happen if you had passed away and did not have the conversation. Your family would have been left unprotected.
Right. And if I would have received that letter and just said, oh, I guess my coverage is going to end, and I wouldn't have picked up the phone and made any phone calls and checked, and I didn't know what to do on my end to be proactive and connect with you and see what are my options, what can we do. If I didn't have that wherewithal, then I would it wouldn't be good.
Yeah, not good situation.
Not good at all.
So one thing too, it makes me think about is that, like, in the beginning, you had some different coverages.
I did.
Yeah. When we first met,
yes.
You had some cash value policies.
I had some great insurance. Oh, absolutely. I had wonderful insurance. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what that wonderful insurance.
Do you really want me to do that?
Well, you know what? Sometimes people get things set up. Here's a disclaimer here. Let me rewind here.
Yeah,
let me
do
rewind
that
here.
disclaimer.
Here's a disclaimer. Never take generic guru advice as your own personal recommendations. So this is not advice. I don't know you. I don't know your situation. I don't know your family dynamics, what's important to you, how much money you make, how much debt you have. So this actually requires a one-on-one with an agent who is going to take the time to customize a solution to you. Yes, you can get life insurance online. Is it going to be the right thing for you? Is it going to be convertible? Does it have living benefits? If something happens to you, who is going to be the one that's going to take care of that and deliver that policy to your family and help you with those options? So it is critical that you have somebody who's going to take the time to really go through that process. And we have, of course, joining us is Mr. Mic Drop, David Jones, Facts on Facts. Tell them, I'm going to tell them, I'm putting it down. I'm giving it to you real. Hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down here. So with that being said, when her and I reviewed her life insurance that she had initially, it was something that was not set up properly, unfortunately. And so it was going to implode, as we term it in the industry, which means what?
Which means, can I say that live? You're screwed.
You can say whatever you want.
I mean, yeah, because when I met Leah, I had some amazing coverage. I mean, I had a great business, and my insurance agent, I'm not going to say the name of the company because, I don't want to do that. But I had a great agent who I thought was a great agent. And she really seemed to have my best interest at heart. I had some amazing products, what I thought were amazing products. And to be honest with you, now that I'm on this side of the fence and I know what I know that I had, finding a good agent is really, it's an amazing thing when you can do that. It is just having a great insurance agent in your back. Having your back is important, and having somebody that knows their stuff and knows their business and knows all the ins and outs and the loops and everything that you got to jump through to make sure that this is good. Those agents are worth their weight in gold. They are. And like I said, I had some really good products. I had some amazing products, but now that I understand the industry, my agent had her best interest at heart, not Deborah's best interest, in my opinion, I should say. But and that was very evident just by the policies and the things that I had. And now that that's all been resolved, I mean, it's been an amazing experience. It's been a very educational experience. Bottom line is, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. And
if you don't know, and it has to do with your finances and your money, you need to find somebody who does know, who can help you sit down and strategize. I mean, we are in this game called life, and we play this game called money in this game called life. And I don't know if you've ever played a game that you didn't know the rules to, but those folks don't win. And that's just a fact. And this insurance is a part of all of that. You've got to make sure that you've got insurance protection, because that is the protection for your whole foundation. If you don't have protection and your foundation is on quicksand, I mean, what do you think is going to happen?
You just gave me chills.
I mean, it's just the foundation, and insurance is the very first thing in your foundation. If you get sick, I mean, your health is your wealth. And if you get sick and you aren't properly protected and you don't have your financial house of cards in order, properly strategized, it's going to be some painful experiences.
Yeah, for sure.
It all can be avoided.
It can be avoided. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple things there. So the policy you had was a cash value policy, which you were contributing to.
I was contributing a lot of money
to. But unfortunately, it was going to self-destruct.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the time we discovered that, when her and I sat together, we reviewed her life insurance coverages. So at that point, we had to make some decisions. Are we going to continue to put this large amount of money into a policy that is not going to do what she thought it was going to do? or maybe we're going to have a different option and get some term life insurance, something that was more affordable into her budget. And so that's what we did, right? Something that was more affordable. But you brought up a really good point, and I'm going to bring in Mr. Mike Drop here also, is that life insurance is one of the foundations. So all of you, if you don't know, get my Wall of Wealth, my free ebook, because Mr. Mike Drop and the Hello LLC, they're helping me to create my new Wall of Wealth, which it's going to get rid of the dusty, crusty one. And now we're going to upgrade. We push the button and it's going to be a beautiful, amazing, more interactive, my Wall of Wealth. Debbie knows about the Wall of Wealth. I teach this foundation, right?
Absolutely. And that's the whole thing. That is right there. Bottom line. That's the first thing you got to take care of.
Yep. So the first layer of the Wall of Wealth is your health insurance, life insurance in some form or fashion, and disability program. That's the first layer, folks. If you don't have those three things, I don't care what you do on investments. I don't care how much you have in your 401k. I don't even care what kind of house you have. If you don't have the first layer in the Wall of Wealth, that first foundation, you've just built your foundation on quicksand. I promise you, at some point, you're going to have a health challenge. And I just had a client call me last week, 2 weeks ago. She did not have the proper type of health insurance. Unfortunately, she did not heed my advice, but there you go. And she ended up with a $97,000 medical bill right now. $97,000, not having the first layer put in properly. Life insurance, folks, we are all going to need life insurance. I know people say, oh, you're going to self-insure at some point. I know these people like Ramsey and
sounds good, right?
It sounds all good, so sexy. Yeah, you're self-insured.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how that works for a majority of people. I would say 99.999% of people, it doesn't work out so well.
Yeah.
Because life insurance just is not about a death benefit. It is about a way that you can have living benefits like critical illness, chronic illness, long-term care benefits. Do you know how many phone calls I get on a weekly basis for somebody in their 60s and 70s and 80s, and they're looking to get long-term care insurance? Folks, if you put that rider, a simple, very, very affordable rider on a cash value policy, that will give you long-term care benefits for the rest of your life. So those people that say cash value is trash value, I say, they have no idea what they're talking about. They have not been in the trenches as an agent, listening to clients, belly button to belly button, and listening to them when they are older, their health is deteriorated, and now it would be very, very costly to get that coverage. So, whoo, you guys get me on fire here. So great stuff. And so one thing I wanted to ask you, and we talked about this, you said, you know, and we initially, it's like a lot of times agents want to be their own agent.
Oh, yeah.
You see that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm going to write up my own policy.
My husband even said, well, why aren't you just writing this policy? I said, well, who are you going to call when I die? You're going to call me when I die? No, we got to call Leah.
And, you know, if I'm not here, somebody will be here
Right.
to take my place, right? So this is the thing, I hear it a lot. I want to write up my own policy. I want to be my own agent. I'm going to service my account. I'm going to get paid on my own account. Here's the thing. You always need an agent. Debbie, by the way, is a licensed life insurance agent. She is also the owner of American Trust
Homes and
Loans. She's a broker. She does loans. She has many licenses and an extreme professional. She could absolutely have written up her own policy. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah,
about that.
Well, I thought about it. I mean, I thought, hey, I got this company. I could go, you know, but then again, I have to worry about the whole cancer. I mean, cancer is a big problem when it comes to life insurance, you know, and I mean, I thought about, I could look for this. I could look for that. There's plenty of stuff out there. I could look. And then after thinking about it long and hard, I was like, well, that's really a stupid idea. And I told my husband, honey, who would you call if I pass away and I'm your agent? I'm my agent. Who are you going to call? Who's going to handle this? Who's going to take care of all this? Who's going to console you? Who's going to bring you that check? I can't do it. I mean, so it sounds like a good idea in theory for somebody who's thinking about that little bit of an income that you're going to make from it. But this wasn't about me making an income from it. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about making sure I had somebody that I know, trust, and love and respect that's going to be there for my husband when that day comes for me. I mean, unless y'all know something I don't know, we are all leaving this planet one day. And I just wanted to make sure that if I leave first, that my husband is taken care of.
Yeah, for sure. So in your opinion, then, why do some people resist having those conversations if we all know we're going to die?
Well, no, we're going to, unless y'all know something I don't.
You know, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Why do people resist this conversation?
Because it's very intimate. It's an intimate conversation, and nobody wants to think about dying. Nobody wants to acknowledge that, yes, we are all going to die one day. And it's really, really simple. When we do pass, when that does happen, we're leaving our family one or two ways. We're leaving them prepared and taken care of, or we're leaving them not prepared and taken care of.
Yeah.
And so it is all about how we see our exit strategy. And when I leave this world, my husband has been disabled since 1989. He doesn't have the ability to go out and go get a job, to bring an income in. He doesn't have that ability to do that. So that was my first and foremost concern is, I can't just leave him empty-handed when that comes. You've got to make sure that he's taken care of. And it's a very tough conversation for people who are, I guess, in denial and thinking that that day is never going to come. But honestly, that day is going to come, and it's going to come sooner than a lot of people expect. And we need to be prepared. And if we don't plan, we're going to leave our families in a really bad way. And my exit strategy is that is not happening to my family. I have seen that happen in a lot of families, my own family included. Okay. My family is no exception. And I did not want my husband to have the stress, the headache, I didn't want him to have none of those problems to deal with. I wanted to have everything prepared and tidied up, all my loose ends tidied up, and I can live my life in peace and not worry about those major details.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's why I think people resist it, because I know I certainly resisted it for a long time, and I thought I had great insurance until I met you. I found out I didn't.
Oh, God.
Found out what I really had. I was like, oh, no, it was your fault because you're the one that opened my eyes. You were the one that said, girl, what you got going on here? Who was that person that did this for you?
Here's the thing. Is that these are difficult discussions,
yes.
But hopefully I make it an easier conversation, right?
Yeah.
More personal. We're not on a time crunch like you've got 5 minutes to have this conversation. It really is developing a relationship over time. Because in my opinion, and I'd love to know your thoughts, it's not about just having a one size fits all policy. Life insurance, like it's called life insurance for a reason. It is going to evolve and change with us. Your needs are going to change over time. You may set something up when you're younger and then your needs change and you need to develop some other strategies. And I believe people ask me, Leah, what type of life insurance is best? Is it term that's affordable and cheap? I'm going to invest the term, buy the term and invest the difference, or is it cash value permanent policy? In my opinion, you need both. You need to have some affordable term with living benefits. And then at the same time, we do need something for long term because there's always going to be a need for life insurance. So what are your thoughts on that?
I agree. I mean, I believe that every policy that we have, no matter what kind it is, everything has its place in the market. Everything. Okay. For one reason or the other. Like when I first got mine, I simply didn't have no money, period. That was real simple. I didn't have no money, but she wasn't going to let me leave uninsured. So she's like, pick anyone, make it work. We'll make it happen. And I forgot where I was going with that. I hate when that happens. Senior moments.
So what type of life insurance is best? Is it the term? Is it the permanent? Is
whatever fits you. I mean, you sit down with this young lady, she does a financial analysis and she decides, I mean, it's not just a number you pull out of there and say, oh, that sounds like it'll work. You have to sit down and you have to figure out what you need, what you have, what you've got going on, what you've got to protect, what you've got to cover. what all that entails. I mean, that's a wide open conversation, and it does take time. It takes time, it takes patience developing all of that. It is all about a relationship. It's not just a transaction that you're doing. This is something that you are going to be with this person for the rest of your life, because your life insurance agent that's somebody that you don't let go of, and so you've got to find a way to make it work.
Yeah, for sure.
But everything has its place. You just got to do the analysis and figure out what's going to fit your family, your needs.
Yeah, it's about customization.
Yes.
It's not a cookie cutter, one size fits all. You can't self-diagnose yourself. Sometimes people want, when we get the symptoms, maybe it's just me, I don't know. And then you Google something, oh my goodness, it's this and that. Listen, we cannot self-diagnose ourselves. And a lot of times people try to do build their financial wealth all on their own. They Google some things, they watch things online, and they just think, okay, well, I've got it. I figured it out. But by the way, that's not your specialty. And if you want to do that, then come and join my team and I'll teach you all about it. But most people are just looking to have an overview. They just want to know the basics. How does this kind of work? Yeah. And it does require an annual review where you're touching base with your agent at least one time a year to just kind of see if things have kind of changed and evolved.
Yeah, at least one time a year, or when you have a major change in your family. You buy a house, you have a kid, you lose a family member. I mean, whatever changes in your family, your insurance agent should be your first person you call and say, hey, what do I got to do? I got to make some adjustments. Got to bob and weave this life, you know? So.
And I would say this too, is that September is National Hispanic Heritage Month also. And a lot of times in the Hispanic community, I know in my community, I can tell you this, that for me, what I knew about people passing away is that you went to the wealthiest relative and we asked them for money. We did car washes and, enchilada sales and bake sales and all that to raise money to bury our loved ones. I see this happen even today. This is not something that happened in the past. This has happened today. A couple of weeks ago.
It's happening every day, all the time.
All the time. We see it. GoFundMe. GoFundMe is not life insurance, folks.
No.
Don't do that to your family.
No, it's not. Not only is it not life insurance, but the fees that they take from your money is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, that's not life insurance. Yeah.
So what do we think about Hispanic culture that, what is some of the reasons why we don't have these difficult conversations about life insurance?
Well, honestly, can I be honest?
Yes.
All right. It's been my experience with the Hispanic community, and I do have a lot of experience with the Hispanic community, is that when I talk to them about life insurance, a lot of people have this connotation in their head that I'm not leaving money for Sancho to come. Are you kidding me? I'm not doing that. And my response to them is, well, if you have something in place for your wife, she won't need a Sancho. So, I mean, honestly, I think that is like the number one objection that I get in the Hispanic community. And when I have that conversation with them and I make them understand, they're like, oh, I understand what you're saying now, Deborah. I do understand that. And the only time that people would need to go out looking is if they are desperately seeking because they are poor and don't have no way to take care of their family. And they've got to find a way to make ends meet. Pushes people to do some things that they might not normally do. So make sure your families are protected. Make sure that, life insurance isn't about, it is all it is about is making sure that the people that you love and you care about are protected and that they're covered and they're taken care of, and you can rest in peace knowing that you've done your job.
Wow.
That's my humble opinion.
Mic drop there. And we do have Marcello joining us. If you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. As you were talking about that, Debbie, what I was thinking about is we have insurance on everything in our life. We have insurance on our cell phones. Okay. We have insurance, this laptop here. I just bought this laptop. I have insurance on this laptop. We have insurance on our cars that are worth what, 30, 40, $50,000.
Yeah.
We have insurance on our home. Why do we resist putting insurance on our life?
I don't know. And especially if you are the primary provider for your family, I mean, putting insurance on your life, putting insurance on your income, insuring your income to make sure that your family is taken care of. I mean, I don't know why people resist that. I don't. I don't. Other than they're not properly educated and they just don't know what they don't know. That's my only takeaway.
Wow.
That has to be the reason, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be the reason.
Yeah. That's why I really respect you for doing this. I understand this is difficult.
It
I
is,
do.
but it's all right.
But you know what? I know your story is going to touch somebody and hopefully give them that courage to take the next step. Folks, listen, if you'd love to, I'd love to work with you, but if I'm not the right person for you, you've got Miss Debbie here. She's amazing also. And, find somebody that you feel comfortable with. That's the biggest thing, is that you feel comfortable with, because it's not a one size fits all one-time conversation. Find somebody who's willing to take that step and really meet with you, meet with your family, not just you and your partner or you and your spouse, but, your children. This should be like a whole conversation, because that's something that you're going to have long-term, like you said.
Absolutely. This is a relationship. And it's life insurance, so it's a life relationship.
Yeah.
So that's the important thing, is finding somebody you can connect with that is honest, ethical, hardworking, transparent. They know their stuff, and teaming up with them and having a partner that's got your back. And I mean, Leah and I go way back. We work for different companies, but we are still very close friends. And you just have to have somebody that you can trust.
Yeah.
To take care of you.
One thing I'd love you to touch on professionally is, since you're in the real estate industry, something I always think about for a term policy is having something that people think of as mortgage insurance, which is really a term policy that can mirror your mortgage. So if you have a 20 or 30-year mortgage, you can get a 20 or 30-year life insurance that will pay off your mortgage.
Yes.
So is that something that you talk to your people about?
Every person. Look, I am responsible for putting people in their home, in their first time home, in their very first investment, in their very most expensive investment they will make in their lifetime. I have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that the work that I have done to put them in that home, that remains, that family is protected. At least if they're not protected, they're educated and they know what they should be doing. Not everybody buys into the life insurance, but for the most part, everybody who buys a home realizes that if you have a couple, husband and wife, and one person passes and they account on both of those incomes to make their mortgage payment, my question to them is, how soon would you be out of money? How soon would your partner be in trouble? How soon would your family have to find another place to live? That's not an easy conversation, but it's one that I have to have with everybody that I take care of. Everybody I have to have that conversation with them, and at least give them the education and the knowledge of, term insurance is super, super cheap. And if you just bought a home and you're financing it for 30 years, a 30-year term policy, fastest, easiest, quickest thing to protect that home. Outside of that term policy, you can take care of other things with other products, but that term policy should be for your home, to protect your home. Because again, it is the cheapest, it's the most affordable, and it gives you the protection that you need for the time that you are in the financing part of your home. And I believe that is, I have seen, it has been my experience, unfortunately, and this happened 10 years ago when I started. But one of my fourth or fifth person that I was out training, we had an appointment on a Saturday to go meet with an auntie, and he called me and he said, we have to cancel our appointment. My 58-year-old auntie took a nap and she didn't wake up. totally healthy, totally young, healthy, vibrant woman. I mean, and she just didn't wake up from a nap. That was a very, very sad time. But what was even sadder was 3 months later when I got a call from my partner that said, Uncle is in trouble now. Uncle wants to sell his house. Uncle needs to sell his house, not wants to, needs to sell his house because the monies that they had took care of the burial, took care of the, debts and expenses and whatnot. But that income being gone, Uncle couldn't keep the house any longer. And he had to sell the house that, I think it was at least 3 generations grew up in. That right there was a punch in my gut, because if I would have just met with that lady 3 weeks earlier, a month earlier, if I would have just met with them sooner, if I would have been more pushy, I don't know what I could have done, but I just felt like, God, if I would have gotten to them sooner, Uncle wouldn't have to be selling his house. And that was a pretty painful lesson.
Yeah.
Actually, it took the agent that I was working with and trying to train, it took him out. He's like, I can't do this. I can't do this.
Yeah. It's not for everybody,
No.
for sure. For me, see, it could push somebody over the edge, but for me, what it does, it gives me that sense of urgency.
Same here.
That's when I meet with families. I know
Yeah.
for sure that I can do something to help them.
Yes.
Now, sometimes that means that we have to make that follow-up call, send that encouraging text message, right? But really, the right agent is going to go ahead and understand that there's going to be a little bit of resistance when people talk. And not everybody feels that way. I have a lot of clients that love talking about life insurance,
Yeah.
and they have many, many policies, and they set them up for their kids and all of that. But if you're from the perspective that you don't really know a lot about it, you don't really have a family history of it, it's something that you don't understand, and it can feel a little intimidating, then, understand that you will find the right agent if you just have a few conversations. Interview me, interview a few other people, interview Debbie, and find the right person. But the thing is that having to sell that house, that was your dream house.
Yes.
Having to sell that house that was in your family. And if you have children and then somebody passes away, I mean, imagine not only losing a parent, but now they have to uproot themselves from their family home, displacing them maybe from their school, their community, their neighbors and loved ones.
And that happens all the time. Way too much. Yeah.
This has been good. This has been really, really good. So we're kind of winding down here, Debbie. Why don't you take a few minutes and tell them about your business with the real estate and home loans and all that. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about
my
that.
wonderful business in real estate. Well, I've been in real estate and mortgage lending since, 1988. So just a little while. And it's been a wild ride. It sure has, especially these last couple of years. I mean, I have an office in Salinas, California. Like I said, I've been doing this for a lot of years, and I help families with their purchasing their home, selling their home. If families are in distress with their home, I can help those families as well. Mortgages have been a little crazy these last 2 years with the interest rates being so crazy. But hopefully that we will see that starting to tame itself down, and a lot more people that have been on the fence will get busy buying and stuff. But yeah, it's been a wild ride. Just everything that's going on in the real estate has, and that's actually why I started in this industry, because our industry is the only thing consistent about real estate is all the constant change. And in real estate, sometimes things happen and sometimes they don't. And when things weren't going good in real estate or lending, I needed a side hustle. And that's how I got involved in this. It's like, I need to make some money when real estate's not moving right or loans aren't moving right because of this, that, or the other. I can't be at a standstill and not take care of my family just because of all of these crazy reasons. I need to have an avenue that I can put food on my table and pay my bills. And
Yeah, that's a great point. So if you are a mortgage broker, if you're a real estate, professional real estate agent, and you're looking for a way to have another income stream is really, to me, it makes perfect sense.
Fits like a glove.
It fits like a glove. You can fill in those
Mhm.
gaps. And we have a few more comments here. LinkedIn user, I think it's my corazon. I'm not sure. That has to be hard to deal with. Having to sell a generational family home is rough.
It
Oh,
is.
Damien Kinsey. Oh, thank you so much, Damien. Amazing comment. They have, if you don't know Damien, you're on LinkedIn, you got to follow him. He does all kinds of incredible shows and LinkedIn audio rooms. This has been informative, Leah. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Damien. You know, this has been a difficult conversation, but I just really honor you, Debbie, because a
Thank
lot
you.
of people would have shied away from this. And
I
really-
did it first.
I know.
Let's not be real. I did it first. I'm like, oh no, girl. Yeah. But I'm glad that I had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
I am not the only one in those shoes. So I know that there are other people in those shoes. And like I said, you don't know what you don't know. So it would be in your best interest to learn all those things.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We're going to be seeing each other soon. We've got the Salsa King in the background here. He doesn't want to come on camera, but just so you know, her husband is, I deemed him the Salsa King years ago.
And you got your salsa today.
I did get my salsa today, which is amazing. But definitely, this has been so informative, and I appreciate you sharing your whole heart.
Thank you. I'm honored to have the opportunity to do that because I do feel that somebody out there will benefit from that.
Yeah.
You know, my pain is your gain. Don't make the mistakes. Don't make mistakes out there. Just learn from other people's mistakes, you know. Make sure that you do the things right way. And I'm glad that I had the opportunity to get my stuff fixed and taken care of and give me peace of mind.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, everyone, for all the great comments. Thank you for joining us.
everyone.
This is going to be recorded. And as always, we appreciate your time. We love you, and we'll see you soon. And we will see you all at the top because we know it's way too crowded at the bottom. This does it for this edition of Wealthy Wednesday Live. Talk to you all soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, champions.